Bursting blues with a laugh in my eye. Shades of wonder got me on a high. We spin stories in purple and gold. Girls got colors nobody can hold. We mix it up, we make it new. Splashy and bold, that's how we do. Running on fun, we won't slow down. Paint the town, turn it upside down. Push out my favorite trap vision. Color like a fool, yeah, you know who I am. Dreams on the canvas, magic in my head.
Good morning. Welcome in. Welcome to Bucky's. No, good morning. Good morning. Happy Tuesday. It is Hot Take Tuesday. And I hope that you've brought your hot takes with you today. But let's go ahead and get into it. Let's get to the crux of the matter, the start of the show. Oh, I haven't shared my screen. Where are you at? There it is. Hope everybody's doing okay. Yeah, I'm excited to get going. I worked some more on our project from yesterday, so I'm going to show you what I worked on. I'm practicing some different techniques, did a little bit of study work last night, and so we're doing pretty good. But let me say good morning to everybody. DL with everything and the kitchen sink this morning. Larry the IDOT 199. The real Steven TV says Meek has never looked so spiffy. I mean, not that I've ever seen. We're jazzing him up. Grape over there on the kick side, throwing everything at us as well. And Spider Unlimited, good morning, good morning. So let's add to the stage Epic Mike and or the Flute guy, depending on how you want to look at it. Hey, it's the fantastic, sarcastic. Good morning, good morning. So I need to finish this picture rather quickly, okay? And because memes, they come, they go, and if I want to accomplish what I want to accomplish with this picture, I need to work fast, right? So I've been kind of doing some study work, following other YouTubers who really focus on background creation and excuse me, that you just kind of blur the background to get the idea. Like you just throw in some little snippets, some little dots, some this, little that, trying to make it look, especially if you're copying something else, you just basically put the essence of what the background looks like into your picture so that it correlates, but it's not the focal point, because obviously this is our focal point right here, the guy blowing into the PVC pipe. And so I've got the background here. You'll notice that it's kind of like the outline of like a cello, and then we've got the music stands with some people. And if I bring up the original photo here, you can see that I've tried to copy the background pretty closely in the general idea, right? So that way, when you look at it, you know what it is, but your focal point is here, and I don't have to spend quite as much time on doing all the little details of the background or whatnot. So that's what we're trying to accomplish today, tomorrow, hopefully very soon. Excuse me. Hot take with Real Steven TV says Tabitha is the best art YouTuber I sub to. Wow. That just means that you have not expanded the pool and that there are a lot of other people you could watch. Highly recommend Jazza. Highly recommend Kesh art. Highly recommend Sam Does art. Highly recommend Nerd Forge. These people don't go live. So if you love art channels and you want to watch people make stuff, but they're more cinematic in the style of editing and filming and everything, and they make the most amazing stuff, you should definitely check out those people. Or if you watched Jazza yesterday, I was watching him this morning with his chess set. It's not quite as lame as it sounds. So anyway, Something that I was playing with, I kind of changed up Mike's hair because I realized when I was doing it yesterday, it was following the style of what I had done before. Let me see. Excuse me. I'm so sorry. I've got the phlegmy phlegm. And I love this. Like, I think it looks so cool. But when I was doing it with this guy, it was looking a little more Rastafarian, like locks rather than a fro. But now that I'm doing this, I still don't think it captures the essence of Epic Mike, which is not good because if I keep persisting, like if I keep going forward with this, that's a lot of cleanup that I have to take care of later. So I'm going to go back and redo his hair. Now, something that I added that I was playing around with is this light concept right here. And I'm thinking of like intensifying it. So it's really that spotlight on him and then, just moving it around and whatnot. But right now I'm going to get rid of that and we're going to go back to our layer. That means I have to get rid of like the color layer and everything. Hang on, let me see here. Yeah, it's up high. It's just a really dark picture on the screen. Nagranol, good morning. Hello, hello. And the epic flute guy, Captain JPS, the epic flute guy. So here we go. Let's give this a try. Let me see. All right. So let's get rid of this layer here. I'm going to have to go I have to go into a lot of different things. So I'm going to keep that outline. I'm going to go ahead and I think I might just need to redo. Oh, I don't want to do all the color. I'm just going to redo the hair. And so we're just going to get rid of the hair highlights here. That is getting rid of, it's not the brush I normally use. And let's get our syrup brush here. How's everybody doing? We'll get to hot takes in just a minute, but I want to at least get started so that Maria can get off my case for not, Oh, I think I got into his skin because I used the wrong brush. So here we go. So I want to prove to her that we do, in fact, draw and do artwork over here. Here we go. I was going to say, yeah, then there's Maria. You can't forget about Maria. She is another artiste. She does really great watercoloring. Man, so good. So good. Art party on Friday, by the way, at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Going to have some really cool people with us. People from the Rippaverse are going to be there, as well as some other new folks. And you don't want to miss it, as well as the old folks. Hey, Cavatino, good morning. Good morning. The hair needs to be more frizzy. Yeah, it's a little bit too tame, if that makes sense. It's just, it's not quite epic enough. When I look at this, it looks like it's weighted down rather than lifted up. And so that's what I'm saying. When I look at Epic Mike, even when I look at the flute guy, his hair, it's not like it's resting on top of it. It's like it's up, it's alive, it's vivacious, So I'm going to, I don't mind the front necessarily, but yeah, I should have kept it the way I had before. I should have trusted my instincts, but we're just going to give Mike a haircut really quickly and see if this works out the way I hope that it does. And then I need to go to my outline here, and we gotta delete the outline too. We gotta erase and start over with Epic Meek. All right, so then I'm gonna get the color of the outline and go where on the outline, and then I'm on the right. Get on the right one, syrup. And then make sure I'm the right size. There we go. All right, let's see if we can't do and just kind of, I should have kept it with the original one. I liked it because Mike has like this very dome shape. So maybe if I kind of go with that, let me create another layer underneath and use that as kind of like the idea and then just go with it. Looks like the guitars from Linkin Park. So you're saying it needs to be more puffy. Well, it needs to be lighter weight. In essence, yes, puffy. because I'm looking at this picture of Mike's hair, and it has a lot of not only does it have volume, but it's nice and upright in different ways. There's a lot of movement to it rather than being weighted down. You can have something that's like puffy, but it's weighted down versus light and airy and elevated and lifted up. This is really important when you're trying to capture the features and the essence of individuals when you're creating their caricatures. So having this real, I think because of the fact that I have this character, like if you'll notice that up in here, um, like up in this section, I only have so much room. So I think what I did was afraid to go out of the box, and I compacted everything to try to fit within the ratio of my canvas rather than just really trying to capture the essence of his hair. So, and more frizz, less riz. That's right. That's right. All right. So, because Mike has these pieces that kind of go up. You got to get the right shape too. I think that I have definitely allowed this piece. Let's see. Maybe if I grab Mike, here we go. And what if I don't want to shrinkify him, but I might need to just to at least get the hair. So let's see if we can do that. Might give me some more liberty. This is definitely making things harder for myself. Again, should have just trusted the process when I was going along, but I was afraid that I was not making his hair look like his afro, but I was making it look like locks. And that is a key component to Epic Mike is his appearance with his hair. So if I get the hairstyle wrong, it's doing him a disservice rather than trying to make it, I know that the other one is a little bit different. I don't know. I seem to have gotten it closer in my previous comic than I have this time. So no more Riz. Good morning. Good morning and welcome in. Last night was very entertaining in space. Look, I told Sebi afterwards that I was having a little bit of a jaw ache. You guys know that yesterday morning I was having some, you know what? I think something that was throwing me off too is this. So let's just get rid of this. Let's just go back to basics here. Let's pretend like nothing is here. Here we go. I think that will help. Yes. I was having a little bit of a jaw ache. Have you guys ever fallen asleep really hard on your side and it like pushes your teeth into the side of your mouth? That's what happened with me, and it's still a little bit sore today, not as much, but it just was, I didn't realize until I started streaming how painful it was to continue talking. And so that's why last night I was very distracted. I hope you guys were still entertained, but that's another reason why I just was not very good with those puzzles. Any hot takes? I do have hot takes. I just figured, I would try to. This is looking more epic. This is looking more Mickey. Well, we're not doing the prosthetics for the feet. I did try to figure out how I could maybe weasel that in there, but it kind of would take away from this. So I think the fact that he's playing a PVC pipe is just hilarious anyway. By the way, I want to give flowers to where they are due. Pedro, and I have no idea how to pronounce this name. Pedro Eustache. He is Venezuelan. He's from Caracas, Venezuela. Born in 1959. He's the flute guy. He is the OG flute guy. And I thought that he seemed vaguely familiar, and now I know. He traveled and played with Yanni for like 10 years. And if you don't know who Yanni is, we can't be friends. You need to do some homework. But he's also worked with like Hans Zimmer and things like that. So that was really cool. I'm like, I know this guy. He was featured Win Soloist in the HBO Game of Thrones live music experience. So this guy's been around. He's been doing work for a lot of people. Kung Fu Panda Live. So he's like he worked with Hans Zimmer on woodwind music for the film Dune. and Dune Part 2. So this guy's very talented, very talented. I was like, I think I've seen him before, but shout out to the OG flute guy, Pedro. We see you, we appreciate you. Thanks for the lulz. No, that looked weird. Yeah. This looks a little less compressed, but I do wonder. Yeah, it's a little bit more like that, but obviously that distorted his face. So now there's a name I haven't heard in a long time. Yanni. I know. I love me some Yanni. I rue the day that I didn't go see Yanni live in concert back up in Washington, D.C. when I lived there for the 25 years of one of his albums. And it was one of my favorites. And I was like, oh, I don't have the money. And here I am like years later where it's like, should have taken the train. All right. So we need to build this up. Yeah, it's looking a little meeky, a little more meeky here. Whoops. A little more meeky. All right. If you guys have any hot takes, feel free to drop them. We might discuss them. Let's see. No, he got the. See, it looks like it's really poofy. Like, I don't. That looks a little more like the epic mic we know and love, right? A little bit more. It's the height. Before it was like it only went up to here, and that's just not accurate. So I think we got the meekiness this way. Tabitha, have you watched the new Knives Out or the new Avatar? So the new Avatar hasn't been released yet, but I am planning on seeing it opening night this week. And I'm super excited about that. And then I haven't watched the new Knives Out, not yet. I will though, because I enjoyed the previous ones. They're different. I like them. Okay, so there we go. Let's bring in the color. And let me get rid of this. Let's go ahead and color this in so that we can see if this is appropriate. Hang on. Don't be a silly willy, Tabitha. Here we go. So it is Christmas season, of course, and we are kind of keeping in the mindset with the themes for even the hot takes and the whatnot. So my hot take, because I know there's like a lot of there's one hot take that I would like to refute, but I don't have the words to articulate it. So I'm going to switch my original hot take for something else. My new hot take, which I mean I've thought about this before, but my new hot take is that Home Alone 2 is better than Home Alone 1. Why is that? I just think it's better because I think it's in the city. I don't know. I can't say that it's let me see. What is this here? I need to get rid of these lines here. What is this? But I personally believe that Home Alone 2 is much better than Home Alone 1. I can't tell you if it's because it was filmed better. I can't tell you if it's because the acting necessarily was better, because I think Macaulay Culkin has always been pretty gifted as a child actor. He was very cute, very compelling in the first one. Gets the point across, gets the emotional, whatever you need, because he was such an adorable but ornery child. And he is a little bit more mature, obviously, in the second one. I think the second one is a little bit more dynamic because of the fact that he is in a city, like the ante has risen in this, right? In the first one, spoilers, it's only been like 20 some years, is that in the first one, he's home alone. And so obviously as a child, that would be horrifying. It's terrifying and all this kind of stuff. But, he kind of has the comforts of home, the familiarity, whereas It's a lot more high stakes, high risk, I think, in the second one because of the fact that he's in a completely different state. He's got no family, no friends, nothing is familiar, so he's got to figure all of this stuff out on his own. Grape, you have never seen the second one? Why? It's the best one. I think also the elements of I've heard some people. Maybe this is where that my other hot take was that it is ridiculous to compare Home Alone to Die Hard. Home Alone is not Die Hard for children for numerous reasons, but that was what I'm saying. I have yet to articulate correctly why that is. I've been reading some stuff and I was going to do a comparison, but I'm like I have it in I have the essential idea in my mind, but I do not have it. I don't have the words to express and or convey my point, and to prove my thesis. So therefore, I went with this one. But if you haven't, you should totally. I do believe that this one expresses a lot more the idea of Christmas, the importance of family at Christmas. I think this one for me, also maybe that this is a personal preference. This has nothing to do with like an actual argument. Is that there's something about the city at Christmas time. There's something about old buildings. There's something about church bells at Christmas time that just means so much. And also in this one, again, spoiler, um, there's a lot of the giving, the selflessness, especially at the end. Christmas. It just, I don't know. It's got like it's like a fun action Christmas silly movie, but I think I'd rather I could go all season of Christmas and not watch Home Alone and would rather just watch Home Alone 2. I do love Home Alone. I just prefer Home Alone 2 and I think it's better. Not a hot take. I agree with that. Yeah. The tape recorder was a fun element. Yeah, yeah. Man, I remember when those things came out. Oh man, the commercials. It was so cool. Is Philip Chan going to be at the art party stream because he revealed something last night on stream about clowns? No, Phil's not invited. Phil's got to clean himself up. He's got to get his act together. No, I was going to invite Phil, but it was a little bit last minute, and I already have like a pretty full panel, so I'm going to try to get Phil for the next one though. You're only 3. I don't think I was old enough for that. There are a few things that are better in 2, but I still think the sum total is better in 1. Really, I think the sum total is better in 2. I can't is the second one better because Trump is in it? Do you know that they tried to erase Trump out of the movie? I can't remember if they did it on Disney Plus or whatever, but when they aired it on TV, they like cut that scene out. What a hateful group of people. Whereas like he didn't do anything but tell Kevin where the elevators were. Like for real. Like you got to have that much hate in your heart to edit a movie because that happened. Meanwhile, Harvey Weinstein movies are still airing. Anyway, Avatar is just a worse version of Dances with Wolves, Pocahontas, or Ferngully. So Fantastic chooses violence today. I've never seen Dances with Wolves. Pocahontas and Ferngully are great movies, so I'm not really sure why people don't like Avatar. I love Avatar. I do agree with the weirdness of why it is such a spectacular film when in a sense it's not memorable. It is memorable. Like I remember it. I love this movie. I remember the first time I saw it in theaters back a million years ago. Like I saw it in theaters like 3 times, and I never went to the movies that many times to see a movie. Avatar was one of the first movies where I went back numerous times to go see it again. And I was in my young 20s at that time, I believe. And I remember seeing it for my birthday in 3D, and it was the most spectacular 3D film I'd ever seen in my life. I will die on that hill. Avengers was really good in 3D too, but there was something stupendous about Avatar in 3D. It was amazing. And somebody said that Avatar is like a firework. Highly anticipated, bursts into beautiful colors, and it's so amazing and just lovely, and everybody's excited, and then it just disappears. And that's true. And I will say, like, somebody said that I think it was Mo was talking about how, like, all these great movies have these amazing one-liners that you can always remember. That's something that's like such a stigma or significant thing about movies. I'll be back. Yippee-ki-yay. And Merry Christmas, you filthy animal, and all these different things, right? And for some reason, it's like, yeah, there's no catchy phrase in, even in Star Wars, "Oh, may the force be with you. I have a bad feeling about this." Um, as much as I adore Avatar, I can't I never use it in my regular part of the speech. Like, that's how you know a movie really sinks in. Like, Lord of the Rings is a regular part of my day-to-day speech, my regular vernacular. Um So I can't explain it, but I'm excited for this film. I maybe it's because of the visuals. I love the visuals. I like the story. I was super nervous, going into the third one, because it's like, is it more of the same? Where it's going to be the idea that Jake and his family just have to travel to another group of people because they're this, that, and the third. And I like the idea that there are groups of the Na'vi that are turning on the other groups of the Na'vi. Like, it's great. Like, that was a nice, I don't want to say a twist because it was always a possibility. It's not like nobody saw it coming, but I kind of didn't. And I don't mind that because there's some movies where I don't want to think too much about what could or could not happen because I just want to enjoy the film. I don't want to think too much about it. That's just not where my fun lies when it comes to these things. And so if we were to do hot takes, I think it's a spectacular movie. But yeah, I will say for this franchise, I am a little bit nervous about the fact that how are they going to make it interesting if it's going to be more, is it just going to be more of the same? But I'm really looking forward to the music of this. I really like the music for Avatar. I do listen to it on the frequent, and I really like this franchise. I think it's great. It's stupendous. It's a miracle franchise because again, it's like, how is it making so much money if nobody ever talks about it after it's done? Hot take: Die Hard is still not a Christmas movie. I feel you. I am there right there. Is that a new art glove? No, this is not even an art glove. It's just a glove that I found that I cut the fingers off. I ordered new art gloves because this is ridiculous. It keeps shedding on me. Last night I was drawing and working on this project and I was like, "Dear God, what is all this stuff on me?" And all the fluff was being like this is coming off, and yeah. I don't say Home Alone 2 is better because it's not better because of Trump. The argument and the reference to the first one makes it better. The other ones are trash. The third one is trash for sure. Um I disagree with this. You can never have enough Christmas light, but I want to be able to sleep. I want to be able to sleep. Natalie and Michelle had a watch along with some of their channel members for Home Alone, so it's still somewhat fresh in my mind. Nice, nice, nice. High Tide, you didn't get an invite? Do you draw, High Tide? I know you're a video editor. Are you also an artist in the tangible medium or whatever way? I mean, dude, you can. I didn't. If that's the case, heck yeah, come on down. Let me know. Sad those movies are on Disney Plus. I don't think it's a sad thing. You've never seen either Avatar? The visual effects are just breathtaking and stunning. And when you watch the behind the scenes and the dedication to the actors, the way that they do this film, like Kate Winslet, I think now holds the record as far as actors and actresses going for holding her breath underwater. Like they literally filmed the second one underwater. And I'm talking Sigourney Weaver, who's like what, 70 something, was being trained by, I believe it was professional Navy SEALs on how to swim and act and hold their breath underwater. And Kate Winslet, I think she can hold her breath up to 6 or 7 minutes. Crazy. I think that's just awesome. Maybe I'm in love with the dedication and the visual effects more than the story. I don't know. I really like it. I really like it. Fantastic is completely correct. I would add Thunderheart is I don't know what Thunderheart is. The thing is, it's like, I don't know why we get so upset about the fact that this movie's just like this movie. All the movies are. Pretty much all the movies are. I've never seen Dances with Wolves. The last time I checked, he didn't turn into a wolf. So that's kind of a new thing where, you got your avatar, right? Is good of taste in movies on Tabitha's Amazon wish list. I'm going to look. I like good movies. Also, I bet you it's been 20 years since I saw Home Alone 2. Wow. Last time I was in the movie theater was when I was 9 years in 1999. Saw Three Kings and my dad. Oh, is there a reason you choose not to go to the theater anymore? My legs. No. My drawing skills peaked in 3rd grade. Well, then what are you talking about? Freddie chooses violence too. This is disgusting. I've seen Avatar once and I've never had desire to see it again, or the second one. Man, the second one is just amazing. Like James Cameron just breaking the boundary when it comes to camera work and CGI. There's one scene, and it's so funny because if you enjoy the films and whatnot, like everybody was talking in the VFX world and stuff like that was talking about this one particular scene in Way of Water that was mind blowing, where the uncanny, the boundaries are being blurred between the uncanny valley when it comes to CGI and real practical effects and stuff like that. And it was so bizarre and amazing. And I was like, is that real? How did they do that? That looks so real. And then you watch, if you enjoy behind the scenes in VFX, visual effects, all these kinds of stuff, you should check out Corridor Crew here on YouTube. And oh man, and it was so funny when I saw their video. I'm like, I knew they were going to talk about that particular scene in the movie, because that is like the most, it's going to sound silly, but maybe it's just because of the artistic endeavors, but that is the most amazing cinematic shot or CGI shot or whatever. I don't know how to word it, in the entire film. It's like, it's mesmerizing, and the whole internet in that particular niche was talking about it. So I would recommend 100%. The music's great, visuals great. I've actually heard that a lot of men prefer the second one over the first one because there is a father-son dynamic, and it's actually really wholesome. It's not like dads are bad and whatever. It's like an actual really heart-gripping father-son situation there. It's a Val Kilmer movie. It's fun. Avatar is definitely fun, and I like them while I'm watching them, but I forget them the minute the credits roll. I think it's just, and that could be, yeah, it could just be a really dynamic retelling of another movie. And you're right. That's what they say. It's the firework effect, where it's like, it's stunning. It's beautiful. It's amazing. It costs so much money to make. Oh my gosh. And then it's like, so what's next? What's next? Agoraphobia. Well, hey, if you're comfortable with that, you don't mind missing out on some stuff, and you're okay with that, then there you go. If you're looking to overcome, Jesus can help you. Watching movies in theaters is getting expensive. Yeah. So far, the story and plot points are concerned. What, for the Fire and Ash? Just watched How the Grinch Stole Christmas. That film has great practical effects in the sets and the characters. I'm not a huge fan of that one, but I have watched the behind the scenes for that one as well. I love that stuff. And the makeup that they had to do for his face, because the thing about Jim Carrey is, of course, we all know, is his maneuverability and his facial expressions carry the weight of every character he ever does. And so when it's like watching the behind the scenes of how to take the Grinch's face that is not human and still be able to have it animated while looking like the Grinch was really fascinating, the way they had to do that. Johnny hated 2 more than 1. Maybe it's because he has a daughter. I don't know. Someone gave me a Blu-ray copy of Avatar. It's still wrapped in plastic. Well, there you go. You can preserve it for the afterlife. The Christmas Chronicles. I like the first one. I don't think I've seen the second one yet. Okay, so Epic Mickey. Maybe his hair was the wrong color too. Like maybe we're on the right layer, right? So we're gonna need to darken it. So I know I was watching the Monday Hangover last night, and it was so interesting, like the distaste for Christmas Vacation. Um, I guess because I grew up with it. I did write on my Criticless review where it's like I grew up with this movie, so when I was little, I didn't really appreciate the nuances of the humor and the whatnot. Now that I'm older, like I get it a little bit more. Some of that stuff, it's like I've experienced it, and um, but at the end of the day, I like that the movie is about trying to get family together, even though it's crazy and it's hard and it's, Chevy Chase isn't everyone's cup of tea. Yeah, for sure. I 100% agree with that. I can't say I've seen like every Chevy Chase movie and whatnot, but I don't know. I think I found, I guess because that movie is so relatable, again, it could be just because I grew up with it too. Maybe had I seen it, like maybe this, like Mike, speaking of echoing Mike, he said that was his first time watching it. And it was like, oh, okay. Interesting. Hey there, Damajani. Hope you're doing well. Yeah. So let's get Meek's hair. I don't want to take too much because I've already wasted. I've already taken so much time trying to get Meek's hair correct. I don't know why. I never call him Meek. Why am I doing that? It's the chat. I blame the chat. Always blame the chat. There we go. It's always been meh for me. I chuckle, but I don't go out of my way. Oh, it's every year, man. It is probably one of it is no, it is. It's definitely one of my go-to Christmas movies that I think encapsulates quite a bit of the Christmas spirit. But I think the reason that I can chuckle is because a lot of that stuff is relatable in many ways. Rogetta 777 $5 says, okay, a little something for the channel here. So hot take, by the way, thank you. Hot take, The Christmas Chronicles 2 is the best Christmas movie ever. It's Friday. Oh, I know what's up.
Today is Friday. Today is Friday.
And just like that, for only $5, you too can make the Brush Hour stream your personal Friday. At least for just a little bit. I know Jay thought of Sevi when it came to carving the turkey at Christmas Vacation. That's so terrible. Probably true though, as my uncle would say, because it's in German, aber wahr, which just means but true. Unglaublich, aber wahr. So funny. Unglaublich, aber wahr. I used to be so upset. I think because I'm quite an empathetic person. And so when I would watch Christmas Vacation and I would see that scene where the lady's turkey just comes out looking so dry and jerky like and whatnot, it would bother me. Like my heart would go out to her because it's like, how embarrassing would it be? Like your job to cook the turkey or the ham or whatever the main course of meat is the most important job. And if you don't get it right, everybody hates you. It's embarrassing. It's hard for a woman. That's a sign of a badge of honor, So but if I didn't say it appropriately, Rogetta, thank you so much for supporting the channel. Always appreciated. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. All right, Miki. Time flies when you're having fun. It does. All right, here we go. Not really sure how I'm going to edit this video just yet when I make this. I know I really wanted to do a little comic thingy of what's her name? Sevi. When she was like we were playing golf with friends several weeks ago, and she was just so frustrated because of the course that we were on, and there was like this jellyfish that was in her way. And you guys know I'm not a fan of swearing, but it was just so funny when she was like, "Oh my gosh, this effing jellyfish." Because it just came out of nowhere. It was just so funny. Um, so funny. So I was like, that would be kind of funny to draw, but there's no time. All right, Meek, let's get this hair taken care of. So I think I need to double check with a couple of people, but I think we're going to be having finished the Dan painting stream tomorrow. And so that'll be fun. I got to get some practice painting in because it's been so long. I got to work up to it. All right. So what if we just kind of left it like that, and then now we add the highlights to it? I mean, that's really bright. Yeah, I don't want it to be too much. Now, when I did the highlights yesterday, they were kind of weird looking. So let's see if we can. I'm not quite sure what all I'm doing, but we're doing it. Just making it look organic. Jingle All the Way Hulk Smash, I think, is underappreciated, undervalued. I like Jingle All the Way. I always like it because I have more brains than you. Sinbad is so great. So great. No, that doesn't look right. I think it's because there's like nothing going on in here. That's what's throwing me off. Oh, come on now. Let's just make. What did I do before with Mike's hair? Let me go. Maybe we need to revisit that study because this looks kind of cool. But what did I do? Oh, interesting. Okay. So I did it around the edges and then had it dark on the inside. Well, we could try something. All right, let's try that. And then it was kind of like I did little squiggle do things. Let's just see what it looks like. Can always undo. Like a little road map. Okay, I think we're closer to what I was trying to go for. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Much better. Does anyone still celebrate New Year's? The whole world, right? I don't celebrate it the way I used to. Like my parents used to be part of like the youth group and stuff like that, and we had some really cool youth night events. So fun. Um but it's been a while since I've been like at somebody's house or something like that and having like an event. I remember having fun though. Friends would come over, people would cook food. Okay. Yeah, this is much better than it was last time. So, That being said, let's bring back the crowd, shall we? Okay, so there's Epic Mic, and then I had this layer for the brightness, right? Gonna be like a spotlight, but I might need to, because I wanted the spotlight to be like just kind of on mic, but we got to have it like, okay. And then maybe if I take this. So I don't want it to highlight the other people. I just want it to be on mic. Flute guy. Seems like no one goes out or does anything more, only if it's a specific event. Well, people don't invite people to their houses anymore. There's no more dinner parties. There's no more group gatherings. There's no more just going over to somebody's house because it's Thursday and you just thought about dropping by. It's kind of sad. We just don't know how to socialize, or we choose not to socialize anymore. Let's see. Should I keep it with ambient light? And I kind of miss that. Back in the day, man, I remember like my mom, I remember seeing that joke from that one Italian guy where it was like, back in the day, you used to always make sure you had like a frozen pie or a cake or something like that, just in case somebody came over. And my mom always made sure that there was some kind of a cookie or some kind of treat in case people came over. And when they came over, immediately she would go, and they were going to be there for a little while. Like my dad would invite them in. We would hang out on the couch or on the at the dining room, and the kids, we would come out and we would talk. We would be there and listen to the adults talk until we got bored, and we'd have to excuse ourselves, like ask permission. Can we just go to our room and play? But that was the thing. The kids came, and we also engaged with the visitor. See, all this fuzz is leaving my hair. Oh my gosh. Can't wait for my new gloves. Yeah, there you go, Sebastian there. And then literally people come over, father would invite them into the house. Kids were required to come and hang out and listen, not really engage quite as much, but we would listen. And then my mom would go to the pantry and go to the kitchen, and she would make like a little cheese or cracker platter. And she would also make sure that there were some cookies and some like candies and things like that. And she would bring it out with the little plates and everything like that. And we would hang out there and just chit chat and get to know one another. And then when the kids got too bored, because we weren't really, I don't want to say we weren't allowed to engage, but we were raised to believe that, the adults were talking. And if we had questions, we were allowed to ask them. But there was that understanding of, oh, the adults are talking. Children need to behave. And so when it got to be too boring because we just didn't know what they were talking about, we would ask if we could be excused to our rooms, and we would go to our rooms and we would play quietly because we had company over. When's the last time that happened at your home? I host game night every Tuesday night. We plan all the meals. Oh, that's so great. Wow. Yes, emergency food. 100%. We always had emergency food. You used to get together with friends, and then someone married a woman who didn't like me. And then maybe it's not that she didn't like you and that they all left you because of her. Maybe she exposed the truth. Fantastic. Maybe she shattered the glass ceiling. I'm just kidding. That's terrible. Yeah, I've been in situations like that where it just takes one bad person or one different person for everybody to kind of change. Someone showing up at my house unannounced is quite literally my worst nightmare. I don't know if it makes us bad people, but Johnny and I don't like having strangers in our house, even family. We need a heads up. And I think it's because we're just not used to it anymore. We don't know how to like host on the go anymore. Like my mom and other women I knew, like that was the thing. It was like, always making sure we had something because people would come over. And this is also pre-internet and all that kind of stuff. Or even when people would call on the phone, be like, hey, call my dad, hey, I was wondering, I'm in the neighborhood. I just thought I would check up with you, blah, 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 like this and the third. And my dad would then tell my mom, and my mom would straight away go to the pantry and everything. We would clean really quickly and all that kind of stuff and make sure the dog got put up. And, just how it was. Yeah, people just, they don't go out anymore. That's why I really, really hate, and I say this, I really disdain the new McDonald's commercial, and not just because it's horrible AI slop, as they say, but because of the message. They could have made the exact same thing with real people, and the message is horrible. I mean, I hate it. I hate it vehemently. The message. I understand that not everybody's life is perfect. I understand that not everybody's family is worth being around. I understand all that. But to push the idea that holidays are terrible, being with friends and loved ones is horrible. It's terrible. It's terrible. It's terrible. It's better if you just go to McDonald's. Man, that really butters my biscuit. I hate it so much. What a terrible message to send to people at Christmas time about their family. This constant tearing down of the family, this constant pushing, and it's an agenda of the fact that we need less family time, we need more our time, we need more stranger time, we need more screen time. It's just better to be alone. It's just better to be by yourself. It's just better to be alone in your house with nothing and no one than to risk trying to have a relationship with the people that you're supposed to have a bond with. And all. It's like tearing families apart is just the thing where it's at. People bonding over the fact that their families suck is horrible. Now, is it something that we do? Of course, because we all have that I'm pretty sure all of us have that situation where there's either the entire family or one member of the family that nobody likes being around, but blah, blah, blah. That's normal. That's fine. But the fact that TV and music promote this idea that family is just not worth having, it's not worth being around, it's the worst thing ever. It's just better to go to a crap, I said it, a crap fast food joint for the holidays than to spend time with your family. What a terrible, evil message to spread. Terrible. True, kids have the iPad volume on full blast. I hate that so much. It's so rude, and I'm mad at their parents every day. Although growing up, my mom used to hide snacks from me. Well, yeah, I mean, yeah. It's a safety thing. We generally don't like the idea of people know our address. Yeah, well, that's the thing too. We live in a different time frame now where people will literally can go into your home, stab you, take your cake, and then leave. It didn't used to be like that. So it's really, really sad that we have such distrust as a community in our country now where we don't even enjoy or look forward to the idea of having friends or family over unexpectedly. It used to be exciting. Be like, hey, somebody's coming over. I mean, mom would get a little frazzled because as women, we want the place all clean and everything like that. But then it was just like, oh, it's so nice to see so-and-so, man. I didn't know you were in town. How great. And you caught up and everything. But now it's just like, what's your ulterior motive? And do you have a fork in your back pocket? It used to be something that we looked forward to because we didn't communicate through the phone and through the computer as much. So our only interaction was when we did happen to see them. I'm a mixed bag on this one. It depends on the surprise. It also depends on the person. I don't want somebody that I don't really favor to suddenly show up on my doorstep. But all of a sudden, like if my cousin just kind of showed up on my doorstep right now, I wouldn't be mad. I'd be surprised and I'd be like, oh, I wish I had prepared. I wouldn't be mad. I would love it. I would love it if one of my cousins just showed up on my doorstep today. Yeah. It's a lost art. That's kind of what it is. We don't know how to interact. We don't know how to socialize. I put myself up there. Like we don't put ourselves out there. We're more concerned about our comfort than we are with the value of interaction. And that's why people don't know how to interact with each other anymore. Like you said, it's a lost art. You think people just naturally do these kinds of things? It's natural to just stay home and wanna deal with nobody and nothing, don't have to clean, don't have to cook for nobody, but there was something rewarding about making sure that your house was presentable and making sure that your house was a place that people wanted to go. That was also a status symbol if I'm not mistaken, where it's like, "Hey, they went over to Oh, you got over the Johnsons are such great people. Man, I love going to the Johnsons' house." It did something for a woman too, where it was just like people felt comfortable coming to my house. Was it a burden sometimes? 100%. My mom didn't always want people at the house, but at the same time, she kinda wanted people to come into the house. But that was also my mom's gift, hosting. Hosting. Not everybody has this gift, right? Some people have to force it. Like, I get Alasia, like, sometimes it's like, "I don't wanna. I got stuff to do." I think it also depends on the time of life, like, if your life is already really busy and hectic and you're working through stuff, maybe people have financial issues and maybe you've got marriage issues. Obviously, you don't wanna have to host people, but I'm talking about, again, the regular everyday. "Hey, Larry, good to see you. Late like a fool." Like a fool. McDonald's food used to be made with quality. Yeah. Yeah. Mm. Is it better to be alone or is it better to find new people? No man is an island, right? It's interesting. I remember reading about, like listening to somebody talking about the idea of community and that it's actually a God thing where we tend to just want to fold into ourselves, take care of ourselves because we're protecting our hearts, we're protecting our feelings. And that's not to sound like criticizing, condescending, or gooey, ooey, girly. It's more of like that's just a natural instinct. But there was like it was interesting when they look at the Old Testament, like, yeah, we have the church and the church is where we gather and do this stuff. But if you look at the Old Testament, there were constant like holidays and think God teacher was like, you really think that God needed us to celebrate him on a certain day, doing things and this? No, it was the idea of community, having something in common to bond over. Very fascinating study. If a house is always in order and well kept, it's not lived in. That's not true at all. It just means that somebody is very organized and maybe a neat freak. I spent my whole childhood with just people walking in front door without knocking. Yeah, no, 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 no. Like I remember my parents having to turn away friends or whatever, and be like, "Hey, oh man, thanks for showing up, but we're busy right now, or so and so sick or whatever, come another day." That was normal too, you know? Tabitha, when gaming, play with your comfortable limits, nothing wrong with your gaming style. Oh, I know, Larry. Some people are just jerks. Sounds right. Hey, Johnny throws Alasia a surprise Christmas present in the trash. I know, she must hate Christmas, right, Johnny? Because no surprise, or do you just not wrap the presents and then put them under the tree? No surprises there. Hey, it's Maria. Hello, hello. Uh, wow. I'm sorry to hear that you guys have not good surprises in your life. Maybe it's a lost art, knowing how to surprise people. I will say, so love my friends and whatnot. I remember my mom for one of my birthdays. I did and did not appreciate it. I was getting up and I look out my window. I had my cup of coffee. I don't remember what I was doing. Like I was just getting ready for the day, right? Like just waking up. And I look outside my window and I see a familiar car pulling into the driveway and it's my birthday. And I see a familiar car pulling into my driveway and I'm like, "Oh no." And sure enough, I see 2 of my best friends at the time getting out of the car. And my mom had surprised me previously with my best friends coming to celebrate my birthday, but I was already presentable, either that or I knew about it. So it was really nice that she would organize that for me. This time she actually organized a complete surprise. And if anybody knows me, I don't like going out of the house with greasy hair. I don't like it when my hair's not done. That's why I put a hat on today. I feel like my hair's not even presentable. It's my shtick. It's my thing. No makeup. I just whatever. And I'm like, we're gonna be taken out. I just had this instinct. I had this knowledge. I'm like, they're gonna take me out. They're gonna like kidnap me and take me somewhere. I know I need a shower. So within the span, I'm not even joking, within a span of like 6 minutes or something like that, I hop in the shower, I shave my legs, I wash my hair, I get out of the shower, I dry my hair, all this kind of stuff, and I get dressed. I set my legs on fire pretty much with as fast as I shaved. That was never recommend it. They don't recommend, but I was like, I will be presentable. And then I met my friends downstairs, like, what do you do? They're like, did you take a shower? I'm like, I did everything. And they're like, holy crap, that was the only way I'm keeping my sanity as a first-time mom is cleaning up my daughter's toys every evening. Yeah, I cannot live in a messy house. Most women are like that. That's why it gets on their nerves when their dudes leave stuff out and they say, well, I'll get it later. It's like, well, why would you just not get it now instead of later for the peace of mind? Just get it now. It's the male female dynamic there. That literally happened to me 2 weeks ago for my birthday. My parents set up my two best friends to come fly south and visit and was shocked. I was so happy that my friends were there and everything like that. I just wasn't appreciative that I didn't have time to shower. It would have been nicer had my mom somehow let me know that I needed to be presentable for my birthday for the next day. That would have been nice. Like, she could have given me some backhanded comment like, your hair's really greasy. Like the night before, me like, did you wash your hair? It looks really greasy. That would have made me self-conscious, and then I would have washed my hair. So it would have been fine. No. All right, Mike. Suits on. Let's do the suit. Yeah, I think, stressed out moms and stuff like that, there's obviously a legitimate reason to not be particularly thrilled about surprises. But again, if we are mentally prepared and it's our experience, like I'm pretty sure, like if Alasia knew that at least once a week, somebody she knew was going to be at her doorstep at some time and she never knew when, she would eventually become accustomed to adding that to her lifestyle because women are adaptable to the situation. So she would always know, okay, I need to have some ginger snaps in the pantry and, some green tea. I don't know. Like it would become a part of her normal life cycle, but obviously having a little one around, makes it a little harder. But that used to be so common, right? It used to be just part of life. So growing up, you would be used to, I don't know if your mom did that growing up as well. So you would be ready for it. Right. You would be ready for it. I can't tell you, like, before I moved to Florida and made some life changes and whatnot, I had stuff that I was ready to host. I have never hosted, but it was in my mind because that's how I grew up. I was ready to host. I made sure I had dishes. I had dishes for my dishes. Like I have some fancy dishes because if I ever host, you're getting the good stuff. You're getting the good stuff. I legitimately have hand painted dishes from my step grandfather's first marriage that my grandmother gave to me. Whole set, coffee cups, salad plates, the works. Okay, the works. I have actual silverware from my other grandmother. Like you getting the spa treatment if I ever host and have you over. I am ready. I'm ready. But that's how I grew up. That's how I grew up. Maria, I have. Look at Mike's hair. I have. What do you think I've been doing? I'm ready. I'm ready to dish out the good stuff. We was also a little bit poor growing up. And so my mom, queen of throw it together, make it look pretty. So I know how to do that too. She always say, presentation is everything. So, it could be cheap stuff, but if you make it look expensive, and if you throw in one thing that's like handmade, oops. So like she taught me how to make homemade whipped cream. Of course, it's not like I have heavy whipping cream with me all the time, but just saying. So if you happen to have like homemade whipped cream and you put that next to a plate, or even if it's like a Sandra Lee, or whatever it is, Sara Lee frozen pie, but you have homemade whipped cream. little dash of the vanilla bean on the top of it. Suddenly everybody's like, oh my God, you know how to make homemade whipped cream? Amazing. Because it's so impressive to people. So it's like, yeah, yeah. That's how we roll in this here shire. Bee, dee, dee. Bee, 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 bee. Now, who in your family was klepto other than you? My grandfather. I've already said that. I couldn't get a friend to go have dinner if I paid on my birthday. Now it's just another day. Oh, come on. Well, then the Bible says he who hath friends must show himself friendly. Sometimes we gotta exercise the friendship. Gotta exercise the friendship. Look, I know what it's like to be lonely. I know how hard it is to make friends as an adult. And then sometimes there's prayer. Sometimes it's also the energy you give out. If you don't want friends or you don't think it's worth having, people can feel that and they don't want to be around that. It's true. I had to learn that too. But you know what? I'm thankful for a lot of like our family went through some church hurt like a lot of people. And we ended up going to this one little church on the side of the road. And there were people there that basically forced their love on us, like real good Christian folk. Like they weren't like inappropriate or anything like that. Like they gave us our space, but at the same time, they just were every time we were at the church. Hugs, handshakes, how you doing? A genuine glint in their eye, a genuine twinkle in their eye when they saw us. And after a while, that kind of wears you down where it's like, people seem really happy to see me, even if I'm not happy to see you. And it's just human nature. It does something to you. We are designed to feel wanted and needed and loved. But everybody goes through a hard time, and we have to determine whether it's worth it and all this kind of stuff. Like I remember it's so was so uplifting, so not uplifting, what's the word I look for? Insightful. So insightful. I was listening to a preacher back in lockdown, and it was a black church. I don't know if that makes a difference, but he specifically was talking about black women. Um, he's like, you ever met? He's a black preacher, and he was saying, you ever met these ladies, these tough old gals who don't give you the time of day, and if you do talk to them, you can just tell that they don't mess around, they don't have time for your nonsense, and they don't take help from anybody, and this, that, and the third, and they've got 3 kids and all this kind of stuff, and they're working hard, and maybe you're on their case because they're a single mom and all this kind of stuff. And he's like, what you don't know is that, and he gave the statistics, the sad, unfortunate statistics, especially at least in our country, of black single mothers. And he was talking about how, yeah, they have a little attitude. He's like, but what you don't understand is that these women gave their lives to some guy, some do good, no good, low life person who took advantage of their love, took advantage of their heart, and promised them the world, gave them nothing in return but heartache, and then decided to leaves them with like 3 kids. And now that woman has to have 2 to 3 jobs, is working 2 to 3 jobs to pay for the kids' education, to pay for a roof over their head, to pay for the food, to pay to make sure that they have nice things in life because mothers love their children and want to have good things. And he's like, and he just listing all the things, these difficult things that a lot of these women have to deal with. And we know it's not specifically just the black ladies, but he was talking about in this particular niche. And he said, you don't think that would change a person? You don't think that that would harden somebody's heart? He's like, these women are not terrible. He's like, not all these women are terrible women. He's like, these women have armor on. He's like, they've been dealt a really bad hand in life. They've been treated like crap. He didn't say that, but he's like, they've been treated like crap, and they're in constant survival mode. They don't have time for your nonsense. They don't have time for your critique. They don't have time for your opinion on your life. And so it's difficult for them to make friends. It's difficult for them to engage in love life again, because they're independent women who don't need no man because they deserve a good man in their life. But because of the hardships of life, they've developed this concrete armor where it's like, never again will I ever let somebody hurt me. And it's the same way with friendships. I've been there numerous times where it's like, I just don't want friends anymore because friends just hurt. Friends just disappoint. Why bother having friends if they're just going to leave, you know? But then when you open up your heart after a couple of years, lots of prayer, Jesus, you all of a sudden realize, you have to accept the consequences of vulnerability. And that's to every person their own judgment if they want that in their life. But if you're willing to have a relationship with any person, whether it's platonic or romantic, you have to be willing to open up your heart to hurt. And that doesn't always mean it's negative as far as it's going to end badly. It just means that we're human and we're going to interact with each other. We're going to get on each other's nerves. We're going to make mistakes. But if you love somebody, you're going to be willing to work on something. And a lot of times I've noticed too that as adults, we don't talk to each other. We just ignore each other or move on and unforgive rather than going to our friend. I've had to do this a couple of times and it's really helpful. I didn't realize how much it would benefit where it's I've actually had conversations with my adult friends where I'm like, that hurt my feelings. And I think we need to talk about this because I value our friendship. And if we want to coincide with one another regularly, if we want to be friends and have that a dynamic where we trust each other and all this kind of stuff, I got to talk about this. I got to let you know, not because I'm a soft pansy, but because it's like, I feel like this will hurt our friendship. And since I value our friendship too much to just let it go, I'm going to talk about it. Now, that's always risking offending the other person and then them leaving you, but it's better than staying in a toxic relationship where you find out your friend doesn't really care about your feelings anyway. God created us for companionship, so we as humans are designed. Yeah, it's true. It's true. It just hurts a lot of times. My son was a klepto when he was 2. He stole his uncle's car keys, wallet, and sunglasses out of his pocket while we were talking. We didn't notice until we saw everything in my son's hands. Wait, he said is not always what he said is not always true though. I know many black fathers who got dumped and were denied access to their kids by the court. Some found out the kids they raised weren't theirs. I'm not trying to say like all black men are bad. That was like I hope that's not what I was trying to say. It was like in these particular instances with the main theme was the fact that give some of these women a little bit of grace because you don't know what they're dealing with and it's only normal to build up a hard shell and it's really difficult to get past that when you've been dealt a bad hand. So it wasn't like specifically to target black folks or say that black men are bad. I would never say that because there's way too many good ones that outweigh the bad ones. That's for sure. But it was just there was an interesting example, and it kind of just made my heart go out to a lot of people, whether it's a father or a mother, where it's just like it changed my mindset. It doesn't even matter who they are per se. Whenever I meet old crotchety, I say old, like they could be any age, but when I meet crotchety people who you can just tell have their wall up and they're just this, that, and the third, and they have their attitude, that message, that sermon always comes to mind where it's like, what happened in their life that they turned out like this? And I'm not saying we need to be walked all over, but it definitely puts more pity and compassion to that person where it's like, man, I'm pretty sure they didn't always used to be like that. No matter what the color of their skin or their background was. It's just like it was an interesting sermon. And yeah, I know. I don't want to say I've seen those TV shows, but I'm sure because they're not based on like they're not reality, but they are reality. Where it's like, yeah, you these men that they take care of these kids and then they find and they build that bond and that love and that trust and then they get dealt that terrible hand where it's like, oh, by the way, your significant other was cheating on you. Oh, so sad. And that's another situation where it's like you build up this wall. I see it all over the internet. I am so freaking tired of men and women pointing fingers at each other like kindergartners. Women are evil. Women are crazy. Guys are just bad. Guys are misogynistic. Guys only want one thing. Like, I'm so sick and tired. I'm so freaking sick and tired of all of these adults acting like children and pointing the finger and then not realizing that we all have a part to play when it comes to relationships. And just because one woman acts like this or a majority, it's just like ask the question, why do women act like this? Why do men act like this? So, like figure it out and stop shifting blame, acting like children. I'm so sick and tired of all these butthurt dudes and women out there that are just projecting their own problems and insecurities and then lump us all together as if we're the same. So disgusting. Hey Patrick, you came in on a hot There's nothing more cowardly than males that awaken the love of a woman and leave. I mean, I would think that goes both ways. But yeah, it's very evil either way to lead somebody on and then, you know. Yeah, I try to talk things out instead of just pushing away, and it's worked great in keeping relationships from straining, ending over things we would have forgot about in years. 100%. 100%. Why do you think I have couples therapy with Nomi? Great. I just want to make sure. I was like, sometimes the words they come out, but like it was such a fascinating idea where it's like, I don't know, maybe he did that on the Mother's Day and he was just like, give a mom a break. I hope you mean this in sincerity and not sarcastically. Oh my gosh. My mom always used to say, I hate it. It's so tacky, but it's kind of true that whenever you point fingers at somebody, you're always pointing 3 back at yourself. My grandfather would always say, sweep in front of your own door. There's a movie coming out that involves a guy doing something for a woman and causing a war. Yeah, men are stupid. We all have our place in this world. We all have our quirks. And when we both understand that there are a lot of things that women do that men will never understand. And there's a lot of things that men do that women will never understand. Instead of just saying we're crazy, we're selfish, we're stupid, accepting the fact that we're different, it can get on your nerves. 100%. Just let it get on your nerves. That doesn't mean people are crazy or stupid. And maybe if you took the time to understand why they do what they do, it would be less offensive. And maybe if you just grew up and matured a little bit, stop blaming everybody else for your problems. Just saying, the world could be a better place. I'm just so sick of all these adolescent adults on the internet. I'm telling you, it gets me so peeved. Between hating families on Christmas and then constantly saying that women are the problem, men are the problem, I'm just like, grow up. I don't have my water with me, so I have to drink my coffee. Yeah. It's all pride and vanity. Like, I'm not gonna lie, some of the stuff that dudes do, I think it's so stupid. I don't think they're stupid, but in my mind, it makes no sense. But I acknowledge the fact that I just don't understand. I'm not wired that way, Oh, you will. You will. Maria's just nagging on me the way a good friend would do. So Maria wasn't here earlier when I was talking about it, so she'll just have to go back and watch the rest of the stream. I believe that if you really vet someone and don't fall for the first few months of the honeymoon phase, you'll know if they're really someone you should. Let's see. Hang on. I believe that if you really vet someone and don't fall for the first few months of the honeymoon phase, is it possible to skip the honeymoon phase though? Is it? Don't fall for the first few months and then I maybe I could have a really interesting hot take about relationships. We might have to save that for February. Let's see. Yeah. Yeah, I am. And you know what I'm even going to do? I'm going to put on the monetization so you have to watch it with commercials. That way I can make money off of you. Oh, Maria. I can't even tell you about the conversations that Maria and I have had. Oh my goodness. Like, I've had to clean up some of her messes. You guys don't even know. You guys think Mia and Nomi have problems? You don't even know what Maria and I have been through. It's been a long year. Look, see, name calling, all that kind of stuff. You know, I keep it quiet. I keep it quiet because I don't want to air our dirty laundry, but it ain't pretty. Stop it. You just stop it. You're perpetuating this cycle of nonsense. Oh, I need to go. My gosh. High tide. That's the point. A lot of people get married, have kids too quickly because they still in the honeymoon phase. They haven't been with a person long enough to know who they really, really are. You know what's interesting though, high tide, is that I have talked to numerous people and it is always, I agree with you to a point. I do. I do believe that it depends on age, experience, all this kind of stuff, intention for sure. Because I've heard this been said like my whole life is that you never know somebody truly until you marry them. And then that's when the actual love and hard work comes into play because the honeymoon phase is there for a long time. Like even I've met people who have known their significant other, like they were high school sweethearts. They didn't get married until they were in their 20s. I've known people who even like they just type on, I can't remember, like live together. Like it's not until they say it's not until you get married where you really know somebody. And that sounds really scary and ominous. I'm not going to lie. I told that to my Sunday school ladies years ago. I'm like, why would you tell us young people that? That sounds so scary. But it's the practicality. It's the practicality. The honeymoon phase, even if you've known somebody for a long time, it's still there. You could know somebody for 8 years. And then when you get married, it's like, I'm in this forever. If you go in with that mindset, which you should, of I'm in this forever. And that's when you lock in and you work through and you realize, I didn't know this about this person. No, but I agree with you, High Tide. Like, I think a lot of people, well, they get married too quickly because they don't really understand what they're getting into. And then, yeah, it all just kind of falls apart because we're not we're teaching that family sucks. We're teaching that men suck. We're teaching that marriage sucks and that don't worry, just get another one and all this kind of stuff. It's terrible. So we just don't have the right mindset going in. It's terrible. And that's the thing too. I've heard a lot of people say they never left the honeymoon phase. That doesn't mean that there wasn't any work involved, but they never left the honeymoon phase. Yeah. My wife and I were together for 4 years and married for 1 before we had our first kid. Whoo, that's a lot of work in such a short time. Right. Life sucks. Suck it up. That's true. My mom would say life sucks, but God is good. Anyway, I have to get ready because I'm supposed to be on the pro show in a half an hour. We got carried away with Epic Mike and Maria and all of our dirty laundry. Hot Take Tuesday is always a pleasure with you guys. I enjoy it. Thank you so much for supporting the channel in the different ways that you do. Be sure to hit the like button on your way out and come over to the pro show. Let me see if I can find 1 second. Let me see if I can find the pro show and let me double check. Jonas was messaging me, and that's when I'm like, oh my gosh. Okay. Hang on. And that you guys can come over and watch if you want to. I tend to have some hot takes over there. Dear God, what is it called? The there it is. WDW. I don't know why I just forget what it's called, but I'm going to send you. Well, I won't send you, but I'm going to throw the link there because I don't think they're live just yet. Well, obviously, because I'm not there. No, I'm just kidding. But it's supposed to start at 12. So Tabitha got to get herself ready. Yeah, the pro who knows. That's right. So auf Wiedersehen. That's right. Frohe Weihnachten, all good people. I will catch you later. I appreciate all of you. Thanks for hashing it out, talking it out. Always a pleasure. We like fun topics. We like hot topics. You know, and then there's Maria harassing me to do the things that I love to do. Anyway, I'll catch you guys later.
If I was watching this video, I would like it. I would like the video and I would probably subscribe because this is so thoroughly